Hey y'all, hey. It is 8 o'clock on January 8th, and as promised, I am here to discuss the Miracle Morning book. We're here to discuss the introduction through chapter 1. So I'm about to try to share this out on a couple of platforms, but if you're watching this live or if you're watching this on replay, feel free to drop a comment letting me know that you are here and where you're watching from. 2 seconds and we'll get started. Yay, my sissy is here with me. I'm so excited. All right, so I won't belabor the point. I've got my notes here. I hope you brought a notebook and a pen with you. I will be referring to my notes, and I want you all to feel free to take any notes because we are here to absorb some information that will help us create the most magnificent morning, which will lead to having the most magnificent day, which will lead to having the most magnificent life. Now, I know you're saying, Portia, magnificent? Really? Magnificent. Yes, I'm saying magnificent because I'm a God girl and I believe that that is what God has purposed for us. That's what He designed for us. He put His creation of humans in the Garden of Eden, which was a paradise. And I choose to believe that He wants us to experience some resemblance of that during this lifetime by being a kingdom member and when we are called up to meet with Him. If you're not a believer, that's okay. These steps and strategies can work for you as well, but that's who I am, so that's how I share it. So, my name is Portia Hines. I am a licensed professional counselor here in the state of Alabama. I will not be doing counseling tonight. I want to put that out there. This is not counseling. Although I am a counselor, I'm probably not your counselor. So anything that we discuss here, these are suggestions and strategies. And if you're looking for something deeper or if there's more going on than you just wanting to level up what's going on in your life, I strongly encourage you to seek out a counselor for you. There is no shame in going to counseling or seeking out professional help. I personally believe that we all should have a counselor, but I just wanted to put that out there as a disclaimer. I am also the owner of My Journey Solutions. It is a counseling, coaching, and consulting business where I help individuals transform their lives. We identify where we are and we identify where we want to go. Then we get really clear about what steps it takes to get there. There's some accountability, there's some support. We incorporate science and research and proven techniques to help that transformation happen. All right, now that you guys know who I am and why I'm here, I want to talk about the book that hopefully you've either listened to or read a little bit of already. If not, that's okay because this discussion can still be beneficial for you. The name of the book is The Miracle Morning, and it is written by a man named Hal Elrod. And before I ran across this book, I had never really heard of Hal Elrod other than knowing that he had a couple of quotes in the Chicken Soup for the Soul book, which I was reading at the time. So, this is a book that outlines Hal's story and it outlines the steps that he took to come from a really broken place to a place where he felt like every day was Christmas morning when he was a child. And maybe I'm a little bit far off, but I think all of us are kind of looking for that. We're searching for that joy. We're searching for that excitement in our day and in our lives. And the day in and day out humdrum of getting up, going to work, and feels like we live Groundhog's Day over and over again. So if we're going to experience something different, we have to try something different. And this is one of the ways that I managed to do this for my life, in my life. I think we all have a story. We all have some adversity or something that we come upon. There's a challenge or there's a crisis in our lives that happens. And how we look at that crisis and what we choose to do determines what happens next in our life. So as we read this book together, we're going to hear his story and hopefully be able to apply some of the strategies and tools that he has outlined for us to make some transformation. So before I go any further, I really do want to just highlight why I thought this book was a great one to start with for book club. And it's because at the time of my life that I came across this book, things were going kind of crazy. Had lost a job, had some crazy things going on in my finances, was pretty lonely, like in a low place, lonely. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try some things I've never tried before. I'm going to do something. I just need somebody to tell me something to try. And of the many things that I tried, some of the steps in this book were that. So let's jump right into this, guys. Has anybody read the book before? Let me start by asking that. Has anybody read this book before? Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Audible does include reading. That's what I call reading these days. I listen to the book. I like to listen on the go, on the treadmill, and all of those things. All right. We're going to start with the foundation. The foundation of this book is really setting a level playing field. Whether you're looking to up-level your life, it is totally okay if you have not read this book. This discussion is still going to bring some value to you, I promise. But let's start with this foundation. It's okay if you're looking to up-level your life, if you're looking to come out of a bad place, if you're looking to just find some joy and excitement. This book is a good starting place for all of those things. In the beginning chapters, in the introduction, he does talk about how your life will stay the same if you're not willing to change things, if you're not willing to be uncomfortable and try something new. So I'm telling you guys to get ready, because we're going to try some new things. Most importantly, we're going to look at things differently than we've looked at them in the past. There's nothing wrong with you for wanting more. That's another principle that he lays out in the beginning. It's not ungrateful. It's not selfish. It's nothing bad with wanting more. I wrote down a couple of scriptures just to reference, but in the beginning, the Bible says that God created us in his image. And if we're in his image, then that means that there's greatness within us, right? He has destined us to do great things. So if we are going to live up to the potential or live within the potential he's placed inside of us, we have to accept the fact that it is okay for us to want excellence and greatness. It's okay for us to want to live, in that glory of who our Father is. All right, promise, promise, promise. It is okay. Again, there's unlimited potential that is ours, and it's ready for us to tap into, but we have to expand our perception of what life can be. All right. Can you relate? In this book, Hal tells the story of him kind of living a dream lifestyle. He became the top seller in his company. His romantic life was going well. His finances were great. He was living the life. And then all of the sudden, an unexpected circumstances came out of the blue and rocked his world. He had a car accident, and very similar to recent events, he had cardiac arrest, stopped breathing, and he had to be resuscitated. And that put him on a journey of recovery. And he says, of course, at that point in his 20s, that was one of the hardest things that he had ever done. But he decided, I don't want to stay here in this place. He said he experienced depression. He was thinking, well, this is not my fault. I shouldn't have to be going through this. And I'll be the first to admit that I've had those thoughts before. I didn't do this. I didn't cause this. Why am I having to fix it? He said then one of his mentors kind of came to him and said, well, why don't you try going running? And he was like, running? The last thing I want to do right now is go running. Now, obviously, this is after he got to the place where he could run again, because he had multiple broken bones and all of those things. But he got to the point where he could run again. But while he was running and he was experiencing that oxygenation of his brain and of his blood, while he was experiencing the movement of his body, while he was pushing through those negative thoughts of, I can't do this, this is too hard, he had an epiphany. I feel really good in this moment because I did more than I thought I could do. I set a goal. I took the steps that it takes to bring the thought into a reality, and now I'm living that. So the miracle morning, really and truly, if you want the cheat code, is just about doing that for yourself. Having a thought, purposing in your heart, making a decision, walking out the steps it takes to bring that out of your head into this world, and executing and continuing to go. Continuing to go. We all have that story. We all have that moment of adversity. We all have the recovery period. So if one person can do it, why can't I do it? It's so funny because I had written down my notes last week, and then this morning at our church service, Pastor Diggs actually said it, the evidence, the evidence of the thing. We have to create that evidence. My favorite scripture, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. A lot of times we forget to create that evidence, to walk in that evidence, to, in the words, you know how it's a popular term right now, to manifest it. There is something that you must do to engage that faith. So, all right, we've had a story, unexpected event. Why me? Let's talk about why me versus taking responsibility. There are some things that are not your fault. There are some things that you had little to nothing to do with. And it's not fair. It's not fair that it happened or is happening to you. We can choose to live in the unfairness. We can choose to live in the reality of what's currently going on, or we can accept the responsibility. And responsibility simply means that we're the ones that gets to decide what happens next. We're the ones that get to decide how we move forward. Responsibility is us taking ownership of the choice to either stay here or move from this place. That one can be very, very unsettling. Responsibility versus, that one can be unsettling because it's like, oh, it might not have got me here, but it's on me if I stay here. All right, write that one down. Think about it over the next week. The next point I wanted to touch on that the first introduction through the first chapter talked about is while recovering or while healing. Am I recovering from something or am I in the process of healing? And I know you're like, well, Portia, that's the same thing. Like, I can be recovering from something. I dare you, I challenge you to think about it this way. If you're in recovery, that means there's still some ownership. There's still some buy-in to whatever that negative situation, crisis, illness was. But if you're healing, you're moving away from that. So I'm in recovery. I'm still in the place of being influenced by instead of healing. Healing means I'm moving away from it. Recovering versus healing. Listen, this is part of what the miracle morning has done for me. I spend dedicated time in, you can call it meditation, you can call it devotion, definitely incorporates worship. But when I say that, like, even things I've read before in the past, it comes a new understanding or a new revelation of what it means to me at this point in my life. So part of your recovery versus healing questions I want you to ask yourself, instead of when I obtain blah, 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 how about, hold on, let me say it to you the way it was given. Instead of when I now. We're going to change when I hit that goal weight. I now am going to experience this while I'm healing or while I'm walking towards my goal weight. When I obtain my degree, I will feel confident and courageous. I am confidently and courageously obtaining my degree. So we're switching the way that we're talking to ourselves in our head, because you hear your voice more often than you hear any other voice. You are constantly coaching yourself from the inside. So we've got to switch the way that we're looking at things. Working on your goals and your dreams when you're on the journey, don't discount yourself because you're not perfect or you haven't quote unquote arrived. Acknowledge your progress. Acknowledge that there's forward movement going on, because the person who decided to make the changes, that person was bold. That person dared to dream. That person had the audacity to believe that something else could exist. All right, here's another trigger point I got out of this first chapter. Not trigger point, but challenge point. Fully committed. What does giving your all look like? What does being fully committed look like? We all have legitimate reasons why we stop. We all have legitimate reasons why we're thrown off course. But if we're fully committed, that just means we get up and keep going once we've been knocked down, once we've realized that we're off course. We rebound and we keep going. What's possible if you give your all? Not the version of all that means, I'm speaking from personal experience here, right? I'm going to give it my all until until my schedule gets too busy. I'm going to give my all until, and I'll admit, I'll give my all until there's a good enough reason for me not to. I'm going to give my all until it feels like I might be embarrassed. I'm going to give my all until you fill in the blank and apply it to your life. All right? I hope you guys are writing these questions down, because these questions, these thought points, discussion points, when we really consider the pattern of behavior we've had up until this point in our lives, these are ones that are going to help us realize, have I been on a productive loop, or have there been patterns in my life that I do that have been unproductive? Have I been self-sabotaging? Have I been taking the easy out? Challenges are going to come and go, and then they're going to come and go again. So if we don't dwell on what we don't have, or if we don't dwell on the things that we don't have the power to influence or change, then we stop wasting so much time and energy. I really and truly believe that dwelling on what went wrong uses just as much energy when we think about it as it did when we actually went through it. So are you draining yourself over and over again, reliving what happened in the past instead of planning and acting for what you want in your future? All right, I have a lot more notes, but I want to pause for just a second and see if there's anything that anyone else has had an epiphany on while we're talking, or they like to discuss further, or find out, is this even entertaining or helpful for you? So I'm going to pause for just a second, and then we'll scoot on forward for a minute. I see my sister in the comments. Yay. Hey, sissy. Alrighty. So we are a little over 18 minutes, and I know I booked a longer time, but I wanted to make sure that I leave you guys with a clear, concrete step 1, step 2, step 3 exercise to do when it comes to facilitating transformation in our lives. Yes, this book is giving you very itemized tips on how to let your morning set your day up. But I want to give you an exercise that I give all of my clients, that no matter what time of day it is, if you find yourself distracted, if you find yourself in a funk, if you find yourself feeling low or unmotivated, this is a surefire, easy 3-step process for you to do. Make a choice. Okay, I don't want to be tired anymore. It could be 3 p.m. in the afternoon and you're wiped out. Maybe the kids were up late. Maybe you had a project deadline and it's 3 p.m. and you're just exhausted. Make a choice. I don't want to be tired anymore. I am choosing to be full of energy. I am choosing to think clearly. I'm choosing to be motivated. So we've changed our thought. We made a choice and changed our thoughts. Next, I want you to change your environment. walk into another room, close your eyes, see yourself on the beach. Do something so that your environment actually changes. Open the blinds, sit in front of a light lamp. And then 3, I want you to change your body chemistry. Get up, do 5 jumping jacks, go for a walk. Do something to increase the circulation, to increase your heart rate, just to change your body chemistry, up that oxygenation, because it is really, really, really hard to maintain the same state of mind when everything else has changed physically as well. We've changed our thoughts, we've changed what we're seeing in our sight, and we've changed our body chemistry. I want you guys to try that out this week. And come back next week and let me know if it was helpful to you or if it was beneficial for you. If you are looking for exercises like this, if you're looking for a supportive community, make sure you visit my website. I'm going to drop a link in here for you guys so you can check out everything that My Journey Solutions is currently offering. And I can't wait to hear the feedback. If you haven't listened to or read any of the book, make sure you hop over to the event page. It has the Amazon link that can take you to Audible. If you don't have Audible, you can download the book for free and listen to it. And if you do have Audible, you can use one of your credits if you would like. But this has been so enjoyable for me tonight. I can't wait to hear what you guys have gotten out of the book. And next week, I can't wait to hear as you guys share tips with me as well. So I'll see you back next week, same time, same place, and we'll be going over chapters 2 through 4. Have a blessed evening, everyone.